Hi, this is Andy Collin and Chris Pomeroy from Growing Up Aspen, Adventures of the Unsupervised. We've started our third podcast series, Movie Chat, with a bunch of students that grew up in Aspen and have moved into the entertainment industry. And today we catch up with Darby Laswell and her husband, Kevin Symons. Darby worked on such things as House Hunters, Billy the Exterminator, and Kevin has been in many TV shows and movies, such as Parks and Recreations, and a lot of fun things. So let's catch up with Darby and Kevin and see what their journey has been like. Thanks. I got a good question for both of you guys, and that one is, how do you prepare for your type of a role? Like, do you research? How do you get into the character when you see the script? And then the same thing for you, Darby. How do you prepare for what you do?
When I get the script, I read through it. I see what my character is like. I see what other people say about my character, which gives you a lot of insight into who you are. Being trained in the theater, I do my beats and my moments, which is I'm marking my script of what I want to hit, what my overall arc is, or my overall objective is in any given scene. And then of course the overall objective, now that's theater mostly. If I'm hired as a guest star actor, if it's a comedy, you want to be able to set up the joke for the lead who's going to get the punchline. That's a skill all in and of itself. In drama, usually, especially in procedurals, you are a cog in a wheel, which means you will be giving a certain amount of information to the leads. So you have to be able to do that right without taking focus. You've got to serve the piece. You've got to be good and professional and ready to go, but you can't be too good because you can't outshine the leads on the show.
Right.
But it's all about the word on the page for me, and what I can bring to it. And knowing those beats, moments, and objectives is really for me the key. Yeah. Analyzing a script is very, very big. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because, Robert Downey Jr. with Chaplin, it was sort of like he channeled that and went into that. And it wasn't like someone said, okay, he had to who was Chaplin and how did he capture we see the movements and we see the actions, but how does that tie to the character and all that kind of stuff? And I felt like that really was an interesting example of an actor reaching in what you do, because there are words on a page, but then you have to really give it life, which is totally different,
So how do you prepare then, Darby?
Well, it depends. Overall, I would say there's an enormous amount of research. So I get whatever episode I'm doing, whether it's for House Hunters or whether it's a true crime thing. You get your episode, so you got researchers or casting people, depending on the show, who are going to bring that stuff to you. And then I look at every single thing I have. If I have a casting tape, I look at that. If I get a pitch for true crime, is a lot more intense than House Hunters. So I'll get about a 20-page outline. Wow. From that outline, I need to write 6 different interviews. They are all about 20 pages long. So I'm almost writing a script, because my interview will end up being the script. So once you digest all that, then it's going in, talking to the person on the phone for an hour at least, and then going back through police records, detective logs, anything in the press, so that you have as much information and depth and nuance and detail as you can get that goes into the interview. And then you go out into the field, and then I conduct the interviews there.
So you have to shape everything. So when you're looking at that, you interpret it, and then you have to shape everything that you think you're going to need to get. And then of course you get that plus whatever, like Orson Welles calls happy accidents. And that's just
she's building that story. I mean, she's writing it as what happens in any given, what's the timeline,
right?
And the different moments and when it happened. Yeah,
and then you got to be in the chair and you got to conduct a really good interview, and you got to make sure people aren't nervous and they're able to tell their story. And you're right, the happy accidents happen when they go back in their mind.
Yeah.
And they see it and they rewalk it, and all of a sudden they're finding these details that you don't know and they forgot.
Right.
And it's really exciting. I
And
mean,
if I can brag on my wife for a moment,
oh no.
Yeah.
they love her there, especially because she is so sympathetic and she is so sweet that people will open up to her.
Yeah.
And that's a gift she has, a skill.
That guy, you know, that's the special sauce for the Rolling Stones. The guy, what's his name? Oh God, he's Chinese. I can't remember what his name was, but he's the guy who did all the music interviews for Rolling Stone. And because he was Chinese and because he was just a film fan, he could just talk anything with people, and they just opened up. They just wanted to tell him stuff so he could get great interviews.
Yeah.
It's funny because, you know, you apply for a job. That's not, it's not like something you line item. That's just your personality.
The soft skills, yeah.
Yeah, and it makes a big difference. You either have it or you don't, you know.
True. That's true. You either
So I have to,
you can work on getting better at it, but either, you know, it's there or it's not there, you know. So
I have to ask, Darby, Happy Face. What are your thoughts on that?
Happy Face.
Have you not seen that?
Have I?
I don't know.
No.
No,
Oh,
I
you
haven't
bet.
either.
I think you have to go watch it now. It's what's his name? Anyway, it's about true crime producer whose
Oh.
father is a serial killer in prison.
Oh
Oh my God.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, listen, just because I'm on true crime doesn't mean I like it. I'm a
You're right.
cat.
Well, it's yeah. You'll have to watch it. I think you would. You would
I sleep with one eye open every night. I mean,
Yeah.
I would love to hear catch up with you afterwards if you go get a chance to watch it. So.
Your skills are, Darby, for what you do are so versed. Do you feel like from high school, are there any influences that you had of teachers that you felt like really sort of pushed you in the direction that you pull from?
Oh, that's really interesting. I mean, you know, we know Brad Moore, who took all of us and was just loved all of us, and was really, there was a really creative vibe there. You know, I was a freshman on the speech and debate team, which didn't happen. I think I was the first and only. They probably brought some in later.
Yeah.
But and so Lyons.
Yeah, Ken Lyons. Yeah.
Yeah, Ken Lyons. He was a huge influence. Push, 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 you know.
Uh-huh.
So I think being in an environment that's so safe. I mean, that's the great thing about Aspen High School. So safe.
Yeah.
There's just nothing you can't do if you want to. And so huge, I think. Very huge for sure. Yeah. And I think all of our teachers there were really supportive of any person that you wanted to be, you know, from French teacher to your you know,
it's true.
person, for gosh sake.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I remember seeing you. Was it you and Todd Naylor that did one of your like a group performance thing for speech and debate? And I just remember being rather impressed.
Oh, thank you.
Like,
Yeah, I think we did pretty well in that. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, wow, there's some talent there.
It was a lot of fun for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a high school teacher also that got me started in the whole thing. He was my music teacher because I'm a singer and I was in the choir and the chamber group, and he was the one that encouraged me to audition for the high school musical, and I was very shy and introverted, and he kind of coerced me into doing it, and I did it, and I got the second lead and in the pajama game, and I was like, what? How long has this been going on?
Yeah. So you had a Mr. Holland's Opus kind of thing. That's cool.
Yeah. I got laughs and wow, and people knew who I was. It was great.
Wow.
I was hooked in high school.
I almost feel like that's pretty much, I mean, the teachers teach you stuff, but the real teachers, that's what they do. They inspire.
They do.
It's not about the knowledge of what you get in the class, but it's about how you go out into the world and getting you comfortable to go do that. You know?
Yeah. And I feel for us at Aspen High, at least my experience, they were all very supportive. I don't remember having a teacher that I didn't feel really cared and was really, and maybe it's because you're lucky enough to be a teacher at Aspen, in Aspen
Right.
College. But there just was just a really cool, supportive vibe there from everybody,
Yeah.
Just a marvelous time for sure.
Yeah, it's true. Hi, this is Growing Up Aspen. Glad you enjoyed that last little blast, and I hope you stick around for a few more. We want to, the authors of Growing Up Aspen, Adventures of the Unsupervised would like to thank you and ask you to, if you're interested, you can check out our book at twistandturnpress.com, or any local bookstore can order our book. So we will talk to you soon and hear more from some of our friends. Thanks.